2 years ago, Tyler and I had the opportunity to go to a musical presentation in Anderson, South Carolina, called Cargo, and it was there that we learned about human trafficking, modern-day slavery, really for the first time. We knew that it existed, but we didn't know to what extent, and that night we learned that Atlanta is a hub for trafficking, and we live in Nashville, which is only about 4 hours away, and had no idea that that sort of thing was taking place essentially in our backyard. And we also heard a story of a young lady who was sold at the Heathrow Airport in the Starbucks in London, and I've been to that Starbucks before and never would have thought anything like that was happening. So while we were there, it became very real to us, and we knew that we needed to do something about it, and it's taken a while, but we finally, we heard about an organization called the International Justice Mission soon after that experience. Do you want to?
Yeah, International Justice Mission, I just visited their headquarters on Monday in D.C. They've got offices all over the world, and they work to combat human trafficking on mainly two fronts. It's the sexual side, the sex trade, and also the hard forced labor side. And they've got lawyers and investigators, and they also provide aftercare for when they rescue people. They go in and they work with public justice systems that are already set up, so laws, police, authorities, whatever they're called in whatever country they are, and they assist in that process of finding brothels and finding these other places and bringing perpetrators to justice. So if you guys have an iPhone, there's an app, and they update it frequently. They update it frequently with stories, and so it's amazing. What the work that they're doing is amazing. It was started. It's a relatively young organization. It was started 15 years ago by a guy who was in the Justice Department, and he left his job there, and before that he had worked for the United Nations doing the same type of thing. But he said, he's a believer in Jesus, and he felt like he wanted to start his own organization. So now there are, I think, over 550 employees, and they're doing, it's amazing. In 15 years, 550 employees. And the way that they run their organization is amazing. Jenny's best friend, or one of them, works for Laura Hoffman, went to University of Delaware. She works for IJM, and she's given us some of the inside scoop. They have an hour or a half an hour at least set aside in the morning just for time with the Lord, and then they have from 11 to 11:30 a time of sharing what's going on in the field, prayer requests, scripture reading. That's not to say they're being lazy during this time. They really believe that without God, that their job is impossible. That fully getting someone from a place of slavery to freedom is impossible, and I do too. So they do a lot of work, and they have signs up all around the office that say, "Please go home by 6 p.m." Because a lot of people are tempted to overwork. We've become freedom partners with them. Awesome organization. So we've heard great stories. Most recently, we heard a story about a young lady in India who they had tried to rescue twice, and both attempts had failed, and they learned about her whereabouts the third time. And they coordinated a rescue with local authorities, and were able to go back in and rescue her and get her to freedom. And that story is so powerful to me because it's one person, and they went 3 times. They wouldn't give up because she mattered. So if you guys want to hear more about the International Justice Mission, we have a lot of info back there, and we would love to talk to you about it. Yep. We did a song. We released a song on iTunes, and it's still up there. That's the main way to get it. You can't buy it at our merch table, but you can get it on iTunes, and it's all the money goes to the International Justice Mission, and it is one of our favorite songs by Paul Simon, Simon and Garfunkel, and it's called "The Sound of Silence."